Have you ever been treated like you no longer mattered by the very people you sacrificed everything for? Imagine sitting quietly while your own son called you dead weight in front of the entire family. They laughed. They agreed. They thought I was too old to fight back. They believed I owned nothing. They had no idea that every house, every investment, every acre of land, every company share and every dollar they expected to inherit legally belonged to me. I stayed silent that night because I wanted to hear exactly what they really thought of me. By sunrise, everything changed. One signature destroyed every plan they had spent years building. The looks on their faces are something I will never forget. Stay until the end because what happened inside the lawyer's office left the entire family speechless. My name is Richard Morrison. I am 71 years old and spent more than 4 decades building a business from nothing. I worked weekends, holidays, and birthdays because I believed sacrifice today would become security for my family tomorrow. When my wife passed away, the house became painfully quiet. My son Daniel insisted I move closer to the family. He claimed they wanted to take care of me. I believed every word. For months I helped with everything. I drove my grandchildren to school. I paid unexpected bills without mentioning it. I repaired things around the house. I cooked dinner whenever everyone worked late. I never complained because family was always more important than money. Slowly I noticed changes. Conversation stopped when I entered the room. Financial discussions happened behind closed doors. My opinions no longer mattered. One evening Daniel invited everyone over for what he called a family dinner. His wife, her parents, cousins and several relatives filled the dining room. I thought we were celebrating my granddaughter's birthday. Instead, I became the evening's entertainment. Someone joked that older people become expensive. Another person laughed and said retirement was just another word for living off younger generations. Then Daniel smiled and looked directly at me. He said, "Dad has become dead weight. We love him, but honestly, he contributes nothing anymore." The room exploded with laughter. Nobody defended me, not even my own grandchildren. I quietly looked around the table. Years of sacrifice had been reduced to one cruel sentence. Daniel continued speaking. He said the family would finally be able to move forward once inheritance was divided because everyone deserved a better lifestyle. That sentence told me everything. He thought my life was already over. He believed the inheritance belonged to him. What Daniel never knew was something I had intentionally kept private. Every major asset remained solely under my name. The family trust had never been activated. No property had been transferred. No business shares belonged to anyone else. The next morning, I called my attorney. By noon, we sat inside his office reviewing every legal document. I asked one simple question. Can I leave everything to people who actually value kindness instead of entitlement? He smiled and answered yes. For hours we updated every document. The family home, the vacation property, the commercial buildings, investment accounts, company ownership. Everything changed. A large portion would now fund scholarships for hardworking students. Another part would support veterans and children's hospitals. Several longtime employees who stayed loyal during difficult years received generous gifts. My grandchildren would receive educational funds only after completing college and demonstrating financial responsibility. Daniel received $1, not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted the legal record to show he had not been forgotten. He had simply earned exactly what his actions deserved. The following evening I invited the entire family to dinner. Everyone arrived smiling. They assumed I wanted to discuss future inheritance. Instead, my attorney entered carrying several folders. The room became quiet. He calmly explained every change. Nobody interrupted at first. Then Daniel started laughing. He thought it was a joke. When he realized the documents were legally signed, his face lost all color. His wife immediately asked whether they could challenge the decision. The attorney calmly explained there were witnesses, notarized signatures, and complete legal compliance. Everything was final. Daniel suddenly became emotional. He apologized. He claimed stress had caused him to speak carelessly. He insisted he never meant those words. I asked him one question. Would you still apologize if you believed the inheritance remained yours? Silence answered better than words. Nobody could look me in the eye. The relatives who laughed the loudest suddenly became very quiet. Before leaving, I thanked everyone, not for humiliating me, for showing me exactly who valued money more than family. That truth saved me from making the biggest mistake of my life. Months later, my life looked completely different. I traveled. I volunteered. I spent time mentoring young entrepreneurs. The scholarships helped dozens of students attend college. Former employees who received financial support opened successful businesses. Letters of gratitude arrived almost every week. For the first time in years, I felt respected rather than tolerated. Daniel continued trying to rebuild our relationship. I never refused to speak with him, but trust cannot be inherited. It must be earned. People often ask whether I regret changing my will. My answer never changes. Money should reward character, not blood alone, because inheritance is not proof of love. It is proof of responsibility. If someone sees you only as a future paycheck, they have already forgotten your true value. That dinner taught me one unforgettable lesson. Respect given only when money is involved is never respect at all. Never my business or my properties. It was the ability to choose where my life's work would make the greatest difference. My son believed I was dead weight. In reality, I was carrying the future he thought he already owned. Never measure a person's value by their age or their silence. Sometimes the quietest person in the room holds every card. Karma does not always arrive with anger. Sometimes it arrives with a signature. If this story touched your heart, remember that respect is earned through character, not inheritance. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment for more powerful family karma stories.